because it's a rough one. We were just taking a look. We can look at our big board again, and
Okay.
Skyfox is up.
Okay.
It's down there, sort of in the second to square there at the bottom.
XC3.
Yeah,
There it is.
XC3. Okay, so I am not sure where this is. I know this is a little further up north, but look at the waterway that's right next to him there. I think that's
I wonder
still
which waterway is that.
I'm not sure if that's the Hudson, but it may be a little further up where it kind of starts to bend around some of the different corners there. But I mean, what do you think? It's pretty much wherever that is.
That's a lot. That's
it's
a
pretty
lot
much
of ice.
frozen over.
Yeah, I mean, and it's a lot of ice out there, and that's happening to all the area rivers for us here in the tri-state. It looks like a little trail that they've made so that you could get your little shipping purposes through. Don't know whether that is exactly the case, but it certainly looks like it. But yeah, it does look like we got a lot of snow and ice.
Hey, John Kasdan, where's the chopper right now?
The Hudson Valley.
Okay,
so that probably is the Hudson River.
I wasn't sure where he was. The Hudson Valley. I didn't want to. I had to put my mic down a little bit. I didn't want to scream with the mic on. So the Hudson Valley. So this is a little further north, right? This is like up north past the Tappan Zee,
where it definitely freezes up. And so the ferry services up near the Tappan Zee, depending on how far that's why they have to either cancel or make some serious changes to it. You got to get something like those icebreaker ships to get in there and bust it all up so they can get through. The Coast Guard has to come through.
They'll come through and start to break it up.
They've got to free you up because you can get frozen in. And to think that it's like late January and this is already happening. And by the way, we were talking about this before, about how we were going to start to see this in some of the area rivers. We still have another week with below freezing temperatures at least. If we get to 33, we're lucky, and that's probably for a hot second, then it goes right back down.
Yeah, I'm looking I was looking at your forecast over the next couple days. I see a lot of single digits on there.
Yes.
I don't like the
in the morning. And that's for the city. The warmest spots here in the tri-state, we're dropping down into the single digits for probably Friday morning and Saturday morning, and wind chill factor is even colder than that before we get set for what could be another winter storm coming through. Now, this is warm stuff that we have right here. 17. I hope you like it.
On the sunny side of the street.
17 degrees with wind coming in from the west at around, the wind's not doing a whole lot, 5 to 15, but it does make a difference in terms of what it feels like. So it feels like we're in like the single digits, and in some places the low are actually below zero. But the problem is, see that little area of low pressure over Canada keeps sending down more cold Arctic air. This is the other big problem.
Cut it out, Canada.
I know. And look at that little area of low pressure developing over the southeast Atlantic waters. That is a coastal storm right there.
So what's the blue stuff?
Potentially coming
what's
together.
That blue stuff in that map?
Snow.
It is?
Again,
that
trying to
doesn't
come at
mean
us
just
again.
Like cold weather. That's actual.
That's the cold, very cold air. But those two are your scenarios. If the storm takes place offshore further, it's a miss for us here. But if it gets a little closer to us in a full-blown nor'easter, this is what you can expect: heavy snow, gusty winds, coastal flooding. All those things could be our problem. It actually, in some situations, could be worse than the storm we just dealt with last weekend here. I'm not going to say that is absolutely the case, but sometimes the models at some points wanted to give us close to 28 plus inches of snow over South Jersey. I know. You don't want to freak people out, but you want to let them know that some of the model information is out there saying, hey guys, take a look, pay attention to this, because it'll have impacts on you this weekend. It's late Saturday into Sunday.
Because right now on your map, you have it in as a snow chance.
Yeah.
Because really at this point, it is a chance.
It is a chance. It's become, so the chance went from 0 on Monday to about 30 to 40 yesterday, to about 60 today, 65.
Because yesterday you were feeling better about this thing. Yesterday you were feeling
late in the afternoon, that chance bumped back up again. It was in the morning.
What happened?
In the morning it was still down. The models, so what happens is the models have to hone in on the information as that storm comes ashore in the Pacific. It has to go in there. They have to go in there and put up all these measurements from the area airports, input that to the supercomputers, and then the models start doing a better job of fine-tuning the forecast,
crunching the data
as to what will be happening by the time it gets to us here. And now it's starting to go wah wah for us. So it's still got some time for things to change. It has not fully come together yet, but it is something we absolutely need to pay attention. I know a lot of folks, they still at the point where like, I can't hear about this just yet.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I'm almost in that boat.
Yeah.
When you said nor'easter, what is the difference between like what we just had, which was still, almost a foot of snow,
Right.
and like a nor'easter?
So a nor'easter, I mean, they're very similar. It's basically an area of low pressure to the south of us that gives you a persistent onshore northeast wind. There's not a real specific
So not like a hurricane
definition.
strength wind,
Right.
like the way
It's
a
not
category
like that.
1 or category 2. It's not in that same
More of a general term, and I
Okay,
don't
I
even
gotcha.
think it's actually an official meteorology term, but it's something that people tend to name these storms
pay
because you get
attention
that
to.
persistent,
Oh, I see.
northeast wind that comes through. Usually the wind speeds are like 35 plus miles per hour, but it's not necessarily calling for like blizzard conditions. And nor'easters can be either summer or winter. It's not, one or the other. They're the same types of storms. It's a
Okay.
coastal storm that usually really intensifies off the coast. Sometimes they call it a bomb cyclone.
Bomb cyclone, yeah.
You'll hear about that when these areas of low pressure may drop, I believe it's 24 millibars in a 24-hour stretch. It basically gets strong really quickly off the coast, and that's what pulls in all the moisture into the cold air that we have in place, and therefore you get either a lot of rain or a lot of snow, and also coastal flooding issues are out there too. So we start getting beach erosion, and you know how it is in some of the coastal locations when the big storms are offshore, you kind of get beat up. That's what we have that potential for sure.
It is.
In fact, that almost looks likely. It's almost a given that you're going to at least have the coastal flooding issues out there.
Oh yeah, because
that storm
mostly like
almost-
Jersey Shore, like
yes,
east end
the
of Long
Jersey
Island
Shore,
kind of thing.
exactly. And those are the places that are at greatest risk to see the heavier snow at this point in time. Right now, some of the models want to give them as much as 6 to 8 inches of snow for the upcoming storm.
Even in the best case scenario for the rest of us, they're going to get 6 to 8 inches.
They get, and it looked more like 2 to 4 for the core of the metro areas for us here, which isn't a ton.
But it's
something.
Yeah.
It's still, we got to
We're
plow
already-
and
we're
dig
s-
out again.
We're
so.
still licking our wounds here a little bit.
Exactly. So we're kind of like not getting too excited, but we're definitely paying attention. I think I've gotten everybody's attention the last few days.
How are things out there on the streets for you? You were able to like do you wear the same work shoes here? Or do you change boots
No,
when you go outside?
I change when I get in here. I wore my Timberlands, the work boots. It looks
Old
like
school.
I'm going out there to
Yeah, me
make a
too.
house.
Well,
But you got to, because sometimes, some of those street corners, when you get out there, they get locked in the slush. I do have to say, you know what I was noticing? I actually thought it was going to be worse out there yesterday when I was walking around than it was. You would run into some corners where it was slushy, but our temperatures are so cold that it's actually not breaking down and melting. So it's going to get worse next week in terms of that. When things really do start to break up and melt, then you'll start to see that really disgusting slush that you can't figure out how you're going to get across with